Hey, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro David Mullins coming to you with the Tackle Direct tip of the week. And you know, some things I've faced in the last couple of weeks in Florida was fish changing, fish migrating, fish in transition. And what I got on there on both of those lakes was a pre-spawn bite. And you know, pre-spawn, you're doing a lot of moving baits, whether it be a Scottsboro tackle swim bait. You know, at St. John's, it was a chatterbait. And you know what happens in those situations where you're catching them really good in practice, just winding around. The fish are feeding, the fish are hungry, they're getting ready to go on the bed. And I found those bites like the first, you know, in practice in the first day of the tournament. But as the tournament went along, the sun got higher, everything got warmer, the water temperature came up higher, and what happens is those fish transition to go start spawning. And you know, when they do that, a lot of times you can still get a bite or two early in the morning, you know, on a moving bait, but you can see as the day goes along that bite just really fades away, and it starts getting harder and harder and harder to get bites. And when that happens, that's when I start going over to soft plastics. And if you watch me up the Harris chain this past week, even the fourth day of that tournament, I really didn't pick up a moving bait much at all, because I knew those fish were just about done chasing. I picked it up a little bit real early to see if I could get a bite, but that's when I slowed down. That's when you need to slow down and throw either a Carolina rig or a Texas rig. And if you watch me on film, this is a Doomsday Roku, just a straight tail worm. This is kind of a hybrid between a Cinco and a finesse worm. It's heavy like a Cinco, but it's shaped like a finesse worm, so it's a great bait. You can do a lot of things with it. But if you watch me on camera, this is the bait I did. I think I weighed in every fish I had, maybe other than one, the fourth day of Harris chain, with this bait right here. So I was slowing it down, working it through the grass. A lot of those fish were spawning in that grass. They just didn't want something moving. They were, you know, you've got to get it in a little area, because that's where their bed's at. So you got to get it in that little area, work it slow, and that was the ticket right there. Teamed it up on a 3/16 ounce tungsten weight, 20-pound Sunline shooter line. This is a 7.5 Corrado Shimano rod. It's an all-around good rod. Same rod I actually use for my big Scottsboro swim baits. It's a 7.5 Corrado, so the same rod there. Both reels, a Corrado 150 MGL. Smooth reel, cast a long way. Fits in my hand better. It's a little smaller profile than the other Corrados, but the 150 MGL, I love that reel. And let's see, with the swim bait, also 20-pound test, half ounce exposed hook. Some of the places where the grass was too much, I'd go to a belly weight so I'd get through the grass, but a half ounce. I'd go to a 5/16 if I had to get it in the grass. Again, 20-pound shooter and 150 MGL. And then on my chatterbait setup, it was 18-pound Sunline. This is a 7.2 medium Corrado. It's got a little bit more backbone than a regular medium. I love it for chatterbaits. Half-ounce chatterbait, razor shad trailer, 18-pound test Sunline, 621 Metanium reel. And that was my setup. Seeing them on my live scope and perspective view. And the perspective view really something I had the last 2 years. You can see a wider area. It's more like an aerial view. I can see holes in the grass, see where the fish is spawning, so I use that. But try that. When they stop eating moving baits, they stop eating your big baits in that transition time when that water temperature is going from the 50s to 60s, and all of a sudden they get off this, pick up something slow, like the Doomsday Roku, any kind of worm, Cinco, something like that, and you'll get more bites. And most all these are available at Tackle Direct.